Kieth, what happened to you? You used to have principles. You used to be somebody I really looked up to. I don't know what has happened to you. That's really rich, what you have to say. You're saying the same thing that you're doing, which is that he is, this terrible person that is illegitimate. And when you look at it realistically, she's the one that's illegitimate because she lost. And she lost because of what she did during her campaign. She did all the wrong things. It was her fault that she lost. It was nobody else's fault. I blame all of this on her and Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Actually, Debbie lets do whatever Hillary wants Schultz, really. That should be her real name. She is totally to blame for this. First of all, every single election, during the primaries, every single primary was completely off in the polls, in the exit polls. In other nations, they would have already called it a bad election. We would have already said this is not a valid election because the exit polls are off by over 2%, and all of ours were over 2%, every single one of them. There were problems in Las Vegas, from Las Vegas all the way to Chicago. The election board in Chicago, those hearings, they heard from people that came in that said that they were taking Bernie Sanders votes and erasing them and writing in Hillary votes, or when they were off, they would just throw the votes on the table and just start picking at random in order to make them match up with the amount of people that showed up. That's not the way you're supposed to run an election. The auditors there were just appalled, and I'm appalled. I'm appalled that our election boards actually looked at them instead of asking them real questions and being really interested in what happened. They actually said to her, do you have the qualifications to be an auditor of our elections? Bitch, you don't have the fucking education or whatever you need to be in the position you're in. Hillary could have definitely won. All she needed to do was stop slapping everybody in the face. She was just full of hubris, and her campaign refused to tell her the truth because everybody's scared to death of her because she's a bitch, and everybody knows it. And that's why the FBI came out against her. They can't stand her. That was punishment for them to go and work for her during the Clinton campaign. They did not like her, and she gave them a reason to hate her. So, yeah, the FBI came out against her. They didn't want her to be president, and who can blame them for that? Now, I understand Trump's no better. He's just as bad at criticism as she is. But she has never, ever taken the blame for her own election going south. And it's been her fault from the very beginning. First of all, she should have taken a lesson from Jill Stein, who had the gracious and wonderful nature to say to Bernie Sanders, you can have my position in the Green Party on my ticket if you want it, Bernie, and I'll be glad to, take second fiddle to you. For her not to step down and say, okay, I realize that my emails have become a big problem. I'm becoming a burden on the American people. I'm becoming a burden on the party. Go ahead, Bernie, you be the Democratic nominee. And she would never ever do that because that's not the kind of person she is. She thinks she's owed the presidency. That's how stuck up and into herself that she is. She's just a conceited, little, spoiled, entitled bitch. And nobody can stand her. But the hell if I was going to vote for her, I'll tell you that right now. Once she did that shit to Bernie in Las Vegas, I mean, look at the tapes in Vegas. You go watch the Las Vegas caucus. It was absolutely obnoxious the way that they treated them down there. And it was the DNC chair and Hillary Clinton that were to blame for that. Not only that, all she had to do was take Bernie as her VP. What she should have done is when the establishment came out against Senator Warren and said, you can't put her as VP, and wagged their finger at her and told her, no, you better not do that. If she would have came out at that point and actually put Senator Warren as her VP, everybody would have assumed that she actually had the balls to fight against the establishment, and they would have probably taken her side at that point. And she would have definitely gotten the progressives out to vote for her, and you know that. You all know that. So for you to deny that and act like it's all Trump's fault, that right there, Keith, shows me you are way in too deep, and all you're doing is becoming the Democratic shill of the party. Don't do that to yourself. You're way better. You're a way better journalist than that. You're not even giving yourself enough credit. Take a step back and take a look at what that actually sounds like coming out of your mouth. You sound like the sore loser that you are. Okay? She lost. Shit, how many people voted for her? She lost. Trump won. She knew what she had to do, and she kept slapping everybody in the face and acting like she didn't need them, and then going to the right wing, and of all people, she goes and kisses the ass of Henry Kissinger, a warmonger, and thinks that that's going to get her the votes, that's going to make up for the votes of her whole entire base. Come on, Keith. Get real, okay? Get real. There was a lot of ways she could have saved herself, and she just refused to listen. Bernie Sanders' people have been screaming since the first day. What is she doing just leaving us behind like this? Yeah, she was losing. That's what she was doing, okay? And she never had a positive message. It was always just against Trump, which is exactly what you sound like. You're just bashing Trump, but you really got no kind of stance for her. You know why? Because she's not a good candidate. She's the worst candidate ever besides Donald Trump. If Bernie Sanders would have taken that hint from the Green Party and ran as an independent, how easy would it have been for him to win? And even if he didn't win, it would have finally put the third party on the fucking map. What else is there that's more important than that at this point in our democracy? We need a third party. We need a third party so bad in this country. And Bernie blew it. He blew it, you know. He got behind the loser, and now we're all suffering for it. We are all suffering for their mistakes and their wrong choices and their hubris and their entitled bitch fucking leader, Hillary Rodham Clinton. One last thing, Keith. I swear to God, if you guys do not stop baiting Russia within World War III, when you have no earthly clue what you're talking about, they were not hacked. It's already been out that WikiLeaks has come forward and said it wasn't hacked. Somebody gave us that information. As a matter of fact, the guy ended up shot in the back of the head. He was not robbed. It was at 3 o'clock in the morning, and for some reason he's dead. Julian Assange is also missing now, by the way. He's been missing for months, ever since his internet got cut off on October 15th. I don't give a shit what videos came out. It's been proven that you can, I mean, come on, we got three-dimensional things showing up and singing us songs at our concerts. We know better. It's real easy to fake that kind of stuff now. We can make a whole three-dimensional being if we want to. I'm sorry. I know she was behind it because she's behind every goddamn scandal that there is going on in Washington. See you this time. I swear to God, Assange had better show up alive somewhere, lady. With his own brain in his head, by the way, not brainwashed by you in some dark room somewhere doing whatever you do in the CIA. Knock it off and let him go. Let him go. Let Snowden go. Let Bradley Manning go. Let them all go. You guys are war hawks that have just lost your way in this world. Knock it off. Stop putting our whistleblowers in jail and just get back to being real people. Don't leave us.